Good evening, everyone. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good
Can you
evening,
hear me
madam.
loud and clear?
Yes, we
Yeah.
can.
Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's so good to have all of you join for this amazing conversation that we're going to have today. You are all welcome to Help My Teen is in Love webinar. And I can't wait for us to start. So welcome, but before we go into the class, I would like to get to know you. So let me know where you're joining in from. Just introduce yourself and let me know where you are joining us
Good evening,
from.
ma'am. I
Good
am
evening.
Olapadeluwa Fumilayo from Ikorodu, Lagos State.
You're welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for joining us.
Okay, good evening, madam.
Good evening, ma'am.
No, my name is Peter Oni. I'm joining from
Okay.
Abuja.
You are welcome, ma'am. So good to have you.
No, but I'm not a woman. My name is Mr. Peter Oni. I'm a man.
All right, so let's keep it going.
Okay, good evening, ma'am.
Hello, good evening, ma'am.
You go ahead, please.
My name is Oladapo Titilayo. I'm from
Mrs.
Lagos.
Oladapo.
Yes, ma'am,
You're
from
welcome,
Lagos.
ma'am. Where are you
Ayobo.
joining from?
Hello, good evening, ma'am. Lagos, Ayobo.
Good evening, everyone. I'm back again. So sorry for that delay. We needed to sort out that echo that I was hearing from the background, and it's from the YouTube. So I hope it's clear now. You can hear me, no echo. We are all good.
Yes.
Can you hear me clearly? No echo. We are good. So we can just quickly start.
Yes, it's there
Yes,
now.
All right.
no echo.
No echo again. All right. Thank you very much for your patience. So let's quickly start. I will thank you for everyone that introduced themselves. I want to quickly start sharing my slide. Okay, so you have introduced yourself to me, and it's time for me to introduce myself to you as well. So my name is Mercy Oluwadamilola Ajadi. I'm a passionate youth and family life coach. I hope you are still hearing me and you can see me clearly and you can see my slides now. All right. So my name is Mercy Oluwadamilola Ajadi, a passionate youth and family life coach devoted to raising emotionally healthy teenagers and equipping confident parents and strengthening families for lasting impact. I am the founder of Crystal Brooks Eye Solutions, a dynamic human capacity development organization through which I have been able to transform thousands of lives using structured coaching, counseling, and mentoring program designed to produce measurable growth and lasting results. My expertise is backed by strong professional and faith-based credentials. I am a certified youth and family life coach from World Coach Institute, USA. I'm also an associate practitioner of family systems engineering. I'm also a certified counselor, a graduate of Rhema Bible Institute, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Nigeria campus. I'm also a medical laboratory scientist by profession. So this unique blend of scientific training and people development expertise gives me a practical, compassionate, and systems-driven approach to family systems. For over a decade, I have actively served in the teens ministry of my church and have facilitated impactful workshops and seminars for parents, for teenagers across churches and schools. I'm the convener of 2 transformational annual online programs, Love and Relationship Mastery course for teenagers, the Connected Parents Blueprint course, and the Dating Without Tears. Through my signature coaching programs, I provide private and group coaching for teenagers and young adults. I also provide parenting and teacher training to equip mentors with transformational leadership and communication skills. I also provide marriage counseling and family coaching to build stronger, emotionally connected and thriving homes. I'm driven by a deep passion for empowering youth, restoring families, and shaping a generation of purpose-driven individuals. My work continues to create meaningful and measurable change, one teenager, one parent, and one family at a time. I am happily married to one man. I am blessed with 3 lovely children. Now, today, I am welcoming you once again to Help My Teen Is in Love webinar. And as we continue, I would like to quickly just take us down memory lane. I want to ask us a few questions as a teenager. I believe many of us that are here, we are parents, we are teens coaches, we are caregivers as far as young people are concerned. So going down memory lane, what challenges did you face as a teenager or were common to you? What challenges did you face? How old were you when you experienced your first love interest? I would like to know in the comment section. Let's quickly do that. You can just unmute yourself and just answer these questions. And then you can also tell us, how did you handle your crush? Did you talk to someone about it? Did you tell your parents? Did you tell any adults in your space? And if you did, how did they handle it? So let's go, please.
Okay, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
My name is Chinyere from Port Harcourt. So I would say the most challenge I faced as a teenager is not having trusted someone I could talk to. My parents were very strict disciplinarians. My mom believes in just flogging, no
Okay.
discussions, So I still remember the first time I think I was in JS1 and my classmates in primary 6 passed in front of our house. And he's a boy. So we're excited that we've not seen for months and we're like, which school are you and which school are you? And I was carried away. It wasn't love, just childish discussion. And just walking him a pool, I'm in this school, and I still remember to date the slap my mom gave me at that junction. It was a popular cross junction just close to my house, like a pole or 2 posts from my house. And thank God my elder brother intervened when we got home. That memory has not left me till today.
Wow.
That's over 40 years ago,
Wow.
or like 30-something years ago. I've not forgotten that. So that made me withdraw, crawl back. I didn't have the opportunity of discussing some things. And if there were any few mistakes I made as a child, I would say that's attributed to that. Even as an adult, I knew there were decisions I took. If I had discussed with someone elderly, I would have been guided properly. But there was nobody to talk to. I would say, I didn't even know if I would call it first love. That should be like 19 years. I was already in the higher institution. I would say that was a first crush or infatuation. I don't know what to call that because I didn't even have good knowledge as at that time. I was 19 years, just got into higher institution. And I didn't tell anybody, because like I mentioned, the experience I had, everything is just plugging, kneeling down, take pain, no opportunity to discuss. It was strict discipline. You can't talk to, you can't do this, you can't do this. And as I parent, I have teens. As I parent teens, even though I grew up in that kind of environment, I see that trying to play in my home. But when I remember what I passed through, I pull myself out of it and try to give my children, I discuss everything with them. I try to make them open up, and I also open up to them when I make mistakes, normal mistakes. I didn't do well in the office. I spoke to this person wrongly, and when I came back, I found out that the way I spoke to this person wasn't good. So they also see that I make mistakes. I'm not perfect. I encourage them to speak out because I know that's one thing I lacked that really affected me. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Amarachi. I feel like clapping for you right now. Thank you for sharing so passionately about your experience. And because of time, I will not take so many other experiences. I know that quite a number of us had a lot of experiences growing up, and that is actually why we're having this conversation. So before, I don't want to take more experiences, but the goal for this particular webinar is that at the end of this webinar, you should be able to explore the emotional landscape of your teenagers. You would understand how to tackle external influences, peer pressure, and social media. You are also going to be able to build healthy bonds and boundaries. You'll be able to understand healthy channels for love expression. Okay? So I will just talk a bit about my own experience as a teenager. As a teenager growing up, I grew up in the southeastern part of this country. I grew up in Enugu. My teenagehood was quite peaceful because I would consider myself an obedient child. But we grew up in this neighborhood, middle-class neighborhood, where we have quite a number of compounds, a lot of buildings. It was 5 buildings, 4-story building and 1 2-story building, and a lot of teenagers growing up in that kind of a compound. It's like something we call a yard today. So that was my experience, and I saw a lot of teenage misbehavior, teenage vices in my compound. And my father was the strict parent who will tell us that we shouldn't have boyfriends, we shouldn't play around, we should stay away from people, we should just focus on our books, we should maintain our virginity, all of those instructions. But right there in that environment where I grew up, there was a lot of sexual escapades, truancy, bullying, all manner of teenagers misbehaviors that you can just think of. But as much as possible, I try to live according to my father's instructions, but we still play around with people because, children will be children. You cannot stop children from playing, okay? So we used to play around, but once we see our dad come back, we all take, we all hide and all of those things that we do. But I was also, in my SS1 rather, I decided to try the boyfriend thing. And, typically to find out if what my dad used to tell us was actually true. And when I tried it, these guys ended up asking for sex. And I fled for my dear life because there and then I realized that, okay, what my dad was saying is actually true. But by the time I got into uni, during my undergraduate days, I also decided to try the boyfriend thing again. And this person still asked for sex. So at that point, I concluded that it was all about sex. So I was no longer interested in anything called boyfriend and girlfriend. But in my school as well, I had the same experience of teenage misbehaviors and vices. It was a public school. In fact, amongst my own circle of friends, I had people who got pregnant. 2 of my friends got pregnant. They aborted it. In fact, there was a particular experience that it's still very vivid in my mind every time I remember it because it happened right in the class while the class was going on. One of the students has taken some pills, to abort her pregnancy. But unknown to her, because we are still teenagers, she came to school and she didn't know what was going to happen. But there and then in the class, she found herself in a pool of blood and the fetus just came out in the class and everybody shouted, teenagers and the way we all behave. So that experience never left me. But one thing I got from my childhood experience, growing up as a young adult, and even when I got married, I realized that teenagers are very interested in love and relationship. And that is why I personally believe that one of the reasons why teenagers were engaging in a lot of, misbehaviors as far as relationships were concerned is because they were ignorant. They did not really have proper guidance as to what to do. So the first message I had for teenagers after I got married was to talk to them about love and relationship. It was something that was so strong in my spirit. So I put it into, I packaged it and started going to schools I started going for school outreaches, and the only message I was talking to them about was on love and relationship. That was how I started. And here we are today. I am still talking about love and relationship because I believe so strongly. It's not just something I talk about, it's also something I have been able to put into practice in raising my own children. Today, I have 3 grown-up children. My eldest child is 26, the second one is 24, and the last one is 22. And I can see some of these things that I'm going to talk to you about today being, played out in their own life, because they are tools I have used in nurturing them, and I see that it works. So one of the things I see parents do a lot is that, I asked you the question of how was it for you when you were growing up? When did you, have your first love experience? And if I was to give all of us the opportunity, I know that we all have a lot to say, but time will not permit us to do so. But one thing we all need to understand as parents and coaches is that love and relationship is a common interest for teenagers. There is nothing you can do about it. If your child is in primary school, if your child is in university, in fact, even in nursery school today, we are having teenagers we are having toddlers rather, who are beginning to have attraction to the opposite sex. There was a particular video I saw some time ago where a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old were kissing at the back of their school compound, and they didn't know that somebody had taken that video and uploaded it and shared it and just used it to teach us what is going on, amongst our young people. My major concern is that parents are, I don't know, but it's like because we are now parents, we tend to forget that we were once teenagers as well. And we all had these challenges. And if you were an adult, if you were a teenager and you are now an adult, the question you should constantly ask yourself is that, am I handling these situations very well? Now, like I said, love and relationship is very important to teenagers. If your child is in school now, they are already thinking of in fact, some of them already believe that they are in love. Some are planning to be in love. Some are already in love. Now, my own concern stems from the fact that teenagers look for love they are desperate for love and relationship, and they look for love in the wrong ways, in the wrong places, from the wrong people, and at the wrong time. And the consequences of some of those behaviors is enormous. The truth is this: a lot of the decisions that teenagers make they stem from a misconstrued concept about love and relationship. That's the truth. A lot of the decisions that teenagers may, go and check it, is from a misconstrued concept about love and relationship. And the consequences of these decisions are very enormous. That is why we are having some of the consequences is teenage pregnancy, abortion, suicide, single parenting. If you look around, you see single parents are more than what we used to have. Poor academic performances, suicide, mental health issues are so many of these consequences that come with some of these decisions that teenagers make that is based on love. The emotional and the psychological consequences that comes from heartbreak and break is another huge burden for them to bear. So the more I work with teenagers, the more I realize the need for us to teach love and relationship education in our homes, in our schools, in our churches, in any religious organization and other youth constituencies, because I believe that we need to guide them on this subject matter, because it is so fundamental to a lot of what is going to happen in their life. Do you know that even after you have spent a lot of money sending your children to the best school, that one relationship decision they make can truncate every single thing you have done? And that is why we cannot sweep love and relationship education on. We cannot act as if it's not important. We cannot think that they should know what to do. We cannot assume and expect them to know what to do when we have not taught them what to do. Because like it is said, a stitch in time saves 9. So if we are able to guide them now, this early time, this early stage of their development, we are going to be able to, avoid stories that touch the heart. We are going to be able to, prevent purposes from being aborted on the altar of love. Aristotle said something that is quite profound. He said that educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. So we spend money educating our children on the professional, path that they should follow, but we don't educate their heart. And their heart is what governs a lot of the things that they do. So we need to begin to pay attention to educating their heart. And that is why I put up this program. I believe so strongly that when we equip them with the right knowledge, with the right tools, with the right skills, it is going to dispel ignorance and empower them to make wise and discerning choices as far as love and relationship is concerned. So let's look at this. We are going to take it one step at a time. I just pray that I would run as fast as I can. So the first thing I want us to look at is teenagers' need for love. What parents need to know. Parents need to know that teenagers' need for love is a basic human need. Love is a natural need for every human being, both young and old. It is an integral part of what makes us tick as humans. Love, every human being craves love from the moment of existence. In fact, studies have shown that an infant who is not touched for some number of times stands the chance of dying and not surviving. So love is a basic need of human beings and is something that follows us into adulthood. We carry it all through life. And that is why Abraham Maslow coined an idea which today is being considered as the Maslow hierarchy of needs. What he did was that he discovered 5 basic human needs that will help them to fulfill their potential and live a satisfying life. And he put it into in the form of a pyramid with 5 levels. Now, on the third level of that pyramid, the human need that was discovered is the need for love and belonging. So love is an emotional and a psychological need of all humans. It's a need for acceptance, a need for connection, a need to, just be loved. So it's natural for your teenager to want to be loved and to be loved. And now the interesting part is that human beings are created for relationship. Whether we like to believe it or not, we are created for relationship. And the fundamental element that govern relationship is love. So if we don't teach teenagers the dynamics of relationships and love, which are two, they are like Siamese twins, they go hand in hand, relationships and love. And when I'm talking about relationship, please, I need you to know that I'm not just talking about romantic relationship. That is why you hear me use the word relationships. Because I'm not just about relationship. I'm not about the romantic relationship. It's about relationships. So teenagers' need for love, we need to know that it is very basic. It's a basic human need. It's also important for you to know that it is not their fault. It's a default setting. When parents get to know that their child has a crush or they see their teenagers act a certain way towards the opposite sex, we get offended, we get angry. We act as if it is the child's fault that they are feeling that way. And, in that anger, we begin to impose some sort of discipline. We tell the child, how can you do this? Why should you do this? After all we have put into you, after all we have taught you. So we think that having taught our children to be morally sound, it takes away their feeling for love. So what happens when we do this is that we create a strained relationship between us and our teenagers. So we have an angry parent versus a helpless teenager. And you even stop to wonder how the child feels when we treat their love and romantic interest in that manner. They feel weird. they feel as if they have done something wrong. They feel as if they have committed a crime. And it doesn't stop there, because this is an innate need that your anger cannot take away. So unfortunately, it is this time that the child needs us the most, that we, act in this manner that pushes them away. The next thing you need to know is that the teenagers, these feelings of attraction is very pleasurable. And even though your teenager doesn't know what to do with it, they are going to pursue it. It arouses their curiosity. This new wave of feelings arouses their curiosity. And so they are going to find out about it. The question is, what are you going to do? Because whether you are showing interest or not, your teenager is still going to find out about this beautiful feeling, because human beings naturally move towards what gives them pleasure. So this romantic interest gives them pleasure, and they are going to move in that direction. So is it not better that you are on the same side with your teenager? You are not against them, but you are for them by the way you respond, which is why we are having this conversation. So the second thing that you need to pay attention to is that if we are really going to understand what's going on, we need to understand the emotional landscape of teenagers. Puberty is an important part of the teenage life, and adolescence is characterized by puberty. But one of the things you need to know about puberty is that it comes with a myriad of changes. And one of the changes that happen, they are quite a number. They experience physical changes. These developmental changes affect them psychologically, emotionally, and otherwise. But the area that we many times don't pay attention to is that it is within this puberty period that they develop sexually. So their sexual interest is awakened during puberty. Is that sexual part of who they are comes alive, is activated. And that is why you begin to see a child who used to be very innocent when it comes to the opposite sex becomes shy when they see the opposite sex. The young man that they used to play around with, even naked, if in some cases, they can no longer do that. They begin to cover themselves up because the sexual part of them is awakening. But now this is the interesting part, is that while the sexual part is awakening, the child is looking for ways to express it, to give it expression. So that is why you see them flirt, you see them masturbate, and you see them sometimes engage in sexual activity with the opposite sex, even while they are young like this. And that is why this is not the time for us to leave them alone. So if they are not properly informed and guided as to what to do with this new development, they are going to make a mess of how they feel. And that is why you see some of them sexting, sending nude pictures. That is the way they want to express this love interest. During puberty, teenagers begin to develop the desire for intimacy with the opposite sex. They begin to have strong romantic interest for the opposite sex. So when we talk about puberty, many times we don't pay attention to these particular changes that occur in the teenager's life. So, and that is why we need to guide them, because when we don't guide them, it becomes a problem. Now, let's look at another aspect that is very important. We need to discover the effects of external influences on our teenagers. Now, like I said, if we don't guide them, they will be misinformed. Now, there are so many factors that determine how teenagers interact with love and relationship. And some of these factors are what I represented here. The first most important of these factors and influence is the family. The family is where values are being shaped. It is where they are being properly taught as to what love is about and how they should interact with love and relationships. The family is that place for first mention. If they are able to learn about love and relationship from their families, it becomes very difficult for them to be affected by external influences. Now, the second influence there is our religious organization, our churches, the mosque. They have a powerful influence as well. So you need to understand what your religious belief, how is it influencing your child in addition to the family. Another powerful influence is their peers. Their peers are powerful influences to them when it comes to this as well. The way they think, the way they act, a lot of the teenagers' vices stems from peer pressure. Because at this stage, they need that sense of belonging and acceptance from their peers. So they don't want to be found missing out. So whatever their peers do, many times they would like to do as well. But that is why the family system should be very strong, because once that foundation is laid at that level, it becomes easy for them to begin to, navigate every other influences that they are going to hear. Now, the other influence is the pop culture. The media is another influence. Are you paying attention to what the kind of movies our children are watching? The skits, the cartoons, the music, the videos, all of these are shaping their mind about love and relationship. Now, the celebrity culture is another one. It's totally on a different level, because we are living in a celebrity-driven society right now. And that is being powerfully promoted by the social media. And the truth is that our teenagers are looking up to these celebrities. They are the sound of reasoning to many teenagers. So the way they act, the way they behave, they are role models to teenagers. And teenagers want to copy and be like them. So teenagers don't know the difference between right and wrong. As long as they are famous, they are popular, and they are celebrated, they believe that everything they do is right. Teenagers don't know how to distinguish between popularity and wisdom. So these celebrities has huge influence on them. So you can see the lifestyle of these celebrities, their relationship values is out there for everybody to see. So if they are celebrities, if the people that they are following have no problem with baby mama, they are fine with that. If they don't have any problem with boyfriend and girlfriend, they are fine. If the celebrities they are following believe that when they are having challenges of life, for example, it's okay for you to sit with alcohol or sit with women, that is how they deal with and cope with their challenges in life. They cope with rejection, whatever life brings their way, and they cannot handle alcohol, women is what they use. If they see their celebrities do those things, they automatically think that that is the way they should handle it. That is why you see many teenagers today getting into mental health issues, because they don't know how to handle some of their challenges. And they are going the way of the celebrities. Because like I told you, I'm not just talking about relationship as a romantic relationship. I'm talking about relationship with self. I'm talking about relationship with one another, relationship with God. The way these celebrities relate with all these dimensions of relationship is the way our teenagers are going to copy and also want to relate with relationships. Okay, so that is why you cannot be on the fence as far as love and relationship education is concerned. Now, let's quickly start looking at how to help teenagers navigate love and relationships. That is why we're here. The first thing you need to understand is you need to understand your teenagers' emotions. As parents, we need to make effort, intentional effort to understand what the child is going through, especially this period of puberty. The truth is this: if you don't, your child is ignorant of what is happening to them, and you cannot afford to be ignorant as well. So if you are ignorant, your child is looking up to you to guide them, to teach them, to tell them what's going on. If you don't know what to do and how to guide your child, you are going to be a disadvantage to them instead of an advantage. So it's important for you to know that during puberty, a lot of changes happen in the child's brain. A lot of changes happen in the child's brain. They experience heightened emotion. They seek acceptance and belonging amongst their friends. They have this drive for self-discovery, and they want to establish their own identity. And in addition to all of this is the fact that their thoughts and their responses, their perception is also being colored sexually. So while they are seeking independence, while they are seeking freedom, their decisions is colored by is being colored sexually. So you see why we have to be involved fully in helping them. So one of the things you need to understand is that during the teenage years, the child seeks freedom and independence. And it becomes very important for you as a parent to gradually begin to step aside. But while you step aside, it's also important for you to know that you need to continue to build strong relationship with your teenagers and strengthen the bond that you both share. So you need to understand that your teenager still needs you, even though in different ways. You need to understand that your teenager swiftly changing moods and outbursts are mostly not about you, but because of the hormonal changes that occur during puberty. So don't take it personally. You also need to continue to show interest in your teenager, but in less direct and intrusive ways. Your teenager is no longer that typical child that used to come around and tell you everything and anything. What she wants now, she wants her privacy to be respected. You also need to continue to be there for her when or him when they need you. They will let you know when they need you, but if they don't let you know, one of your duties as a parent is to do what I call the check-in. If you pay attention and you are discerning, you are going to be able to pick some red flags of some teens' misbehavior around your teenager. So while you are waiting for them to invite you, you can also go to them and, find out from them what is going on. That is part of the things that we owe them. So helping them to understand their emotions. And then we also need to help them navigate their romantic interest. This is very important because a lot of damage is being done in this regard. We need to teach them that romantic feelings, infatuation, sexual feelings, and attraction, they are not love. There's a lot more to love than the feeling. Okay, we need to teach them the purposes for these feelings at this stage of their life, because their question is, if I'm not supposed to do this, why am I feeling this way? We need to let them know the purposes, because when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. So we need to help them understand that part of the purpose is for them to develop self-discipline, self-control, and delayed gratification while they wait for the right time to give it expression within the context of marriage. We need to teach them that. We also need to build the right belief in them. What you believe about a thing will determine how you feel about it and what you do with it. We need to uninstall some of the beliefs that they have about, some of the wrong beliefs they have about love and relationship, and begin to install the right beliefs. Beliefs are powerful. Whatever you the perception is everything. The way they perceive love and relationship determines how they are going to relate with it. Have you ever wondered why we are able to manage some emotions and we are not able to manage others? It's because we have been programmed to think about those emotions in a certain way. For example, if you want to wee, you don't just, no matter where you are, you need to hold yourself until you get to the right place before you can wee, before you can urinate. You don't just urinate anywhere. Why are we able to hold that emotion? We need to teach our children that once we build the right belief around love and relationship for them, we are going to help them relate with love and relationship in a healthier way. Now, let me tell you this. I discovered that every generation have a definition for love and relationship. In yesteryears, love and relationship was not being defined about feeling. Love wasn't associated with feelings at all. Love was hugely built on purpose and character. But today, the celebrity-driven culture, our society is redefining love in a way that is harmful to our teenagers. And that is why we need to redefine love for them from the perspective of the one who created love. Human beings didn't create love, so they don't have the right definition. And the truth is that when the definition of a concept is not right, its practice cannot be right. One of the reasons why the marriage institution today is failing is because people are going into that institution with the wrong understanding of love and relationship. It's not because there's anything wrong with marriage. People are going into marriage today with the wrong definition of love and relationships, which is not what we had in yesteryears. So you need to understand the definitions that this generation has given to love and relationship, and understand that that is what is driving the behaviors that you see. So if we are going to change anything, that is why I am big on building the right belief in them. When we build the right belief in them about love and relationship, it is going to shape the way they perceive love and relationship and the way they relate with it. We need to let them know that it is God-given. These feelings are God-given. It's not from man. Because we are sexual beings. It's not sin. It's not bad. Don't make your child feel bad because they have romantic feelings. No, you are not helping them. I've seen teenagers whose parents have called wish, whose parents have called harlots, you are promiscuous, because the child just confided in them that this is the way I am feeling towards this person of the opposite sex. The emotions of love can be exciting. We need to tell them that they must not. See, you need to teach your teenager that they should not be driven by their emotions. Teenagers are not just experiencing emotion, they are hijacked by their emotions because the prefrontal cortex is still under construction, which is the center of the brain that controls decision-making, executive function skills, and all of that. So a teenager makes decisions based on how they feel. They don't think about the consequences of their action. It's about how they feel. So we need to teach them to be in control of their emotions. That you may not choose how you feel, but you are responsible for what you do with how you feel. We need to teach them to learn to keep their emotions in check and not allow them to be all over the place to avoid engaging in unreasonable behaviors. We also need to teach them to starve and don't feed these feelings by engaging in activities that align with what they should do at this season of their life. They don't have any business with romantic love at this season of their life. So another thing we need to do is to teach, help them to tackle external influences. As a parent, as a guardian, as someone who loves teenagers, you need to understand that you are not the only one speaking to your child. You are not the only one parenting your child. Many voices are parenting your child. And that is why our family values cannot be overemphasized. The place of our family values cannot be overemphasized. So you need to teach your family core values. You need to build a strong internal influence through your family core values. This will curb or ward off external influences. When our family values is the compass that gives us direction. They are the principles and the ethics that governs our behaviors. So when we teach our core values to our children, what we are doing is that we are handing them a template to be able to build their own life. So as they interact with human beings with different ideologies and from all manner of behavior and personality, it is those core values that will become a compass that gives them direction and the anchor that stabilizes them when they face challenges of different kinds. So your core value is so powerful. And let me let you know this. Sometimes you may not even have a written core value, but the way you speak, the way your attitude, the way you treat each other in your family is already a core value that they are absorbing and they are internalizing, and it is becoming their own. So for example, what kind of core values are you exuding in your home? If it is honesty, if it is respect, if it is unity, if it is love, your child is embracing those values. If your family core values is also disrespect, disunity, you don't know how to handle conflict, you keep malice, you bully, you control, your child is also learning those values. So whether you write it down or not, as long as you are expressing them, your child is learning from them. I remember a particular, I finished having a coaching session on this love and relationship in a particular school. And the child was listening very attentively. And at the end, she came and she said she wanted to ask a question. And I said, okay, go ahead. She said she has listened to me. And I said a lot of beautiful things about love. And then she now asked me, is it possible for people to love themselves? And they are constantly fighting. Listening to her, you know where she's coming from. She's coming from, by the time I probe further, I realized that she's coming from a home where that was a constant experience. So she has already taken it in, but now she's hearing that love is this way. Love has certain characteristics. And she's beginning to ask herself, is this love that I'm experiencing in my own home? That was why she asked that question. So teach your family core values. Teach love and relationship education. Define love for your children based on your beliefs and your moral values. Let them have an understanding from your perspective. And when you are teaching, find out what they know about love and relationship. Don't just push your own knowledge down their throat. Find out what they know and then take it from there. Be a role model. Modeling is very powerful in instructing teenagers. Is teaching without words. That's what modeling does. It teaches your teenagers without you saying anything. And it is very, very effective as far as young people are concerned, because young people close their ears to your instructions and they open their eyes to your examples. So if you are teaching them, you have to ensure that your actions align with your words. So you cannot be, if you want your child to be chaste, you have to model it by the way you relate with the opposite sex. You have to model it by the way you interact with other people. You cannot be promiscuous and want a chaste child. You cannot be controlling and want a child that loves people. You cannot be a bully and expect your child not to be a bully. You cannot disrespect your spouse, your sibling. Your child is watching the way you interact with your husband, the way you interact with your wife. They are learning from you. So if you want them to be respectful, they are looking to learn respect from you. If you want them to consider other human beings, they are looking at the way you are talking to your siblings, the way you talk to your domestic staff. So it's not enough for you to tell them what to do. They want to see you do it. Create a safe haven where questions, opinions are shared and answered without judgment, labeling, or insult. See, we live in a society, a world that is inundated with numerous controversies and contradictions on love and relationship. This is not the time for you to shut your children down when they're asking questions. You have to create a safe place for them to be able to voice their questions. It's one of the things we have practiced in my home, and I see it work. Your children have questions about LGBTQ. Your children have questions about sex. Your children have questions about rejection, about disappointment. They have questions about their identity. It's not enough that you are taking them to church. They want to know, because a lot of the decisions they are making is rooted in identity. And many teenagers today are having identity crisis because they don't know where they stand. They don't know who they are. So you have to create a safe haven without labeling and judging them or shutting them down and making them feel shame because they're asking you questions, especially the believers amongst us, Christians. We cannot shut our children down any longer and just quote scriptures for them. It's not working. They need answers. And that is why you need to equip yourself with wisdom to give them answers. It's not enough to quote scriptures for them. Now, the next thing that you need to do is to build healthy bonds and boundaries. One of the things I see with parents is that the way we handle our children's love and romantic interests or relationship matters is that it's such that pushes them away. It worsens the situation. I need to let you know here and now that as you are helping your child in this regard, you need to make extra effort to build bonds, to strengthen your relationship with your child. Because see, everything about healthy love and relationship is hinged on what they see from home. That is why our family is the first line of relationships. God puts us in family so that we can learn what relationship looks like. That is the goal. So the quality of the relationship your child is having with you will determine whether they will be open with you or whether they will withdraw. The quality of the relationship they are having with you is the template or the curriculum that they are going to use in their own choice of relationship. The quality of the relationship they are having with you is going to determine how they express relationship to other people, how they relate with other people rather, and also is going to determine the kind of love they receive from other people. It's all about the quality of relationship they receive from you. That is why you cannot afford to be at war with your child. You cannot afford to be against them. Your child must not see you as an enemy in this whole thing called love and relationships. You also need to teach your children boundaries. One of the things I've seen with young people is that they don't know, they are very, even adults don't know how to set boundaries because we see boundaries as walls that keeps people off. So if adults think like that, you can imagine how teenagers think. Teenagers don't know how to express what they are not comfortable with. So you need to begin to teach your children how to set boundaries by setting boundaries with them and insisting that they respect your boundaries, and also teaching them how to set boundaries and you also respecting their boundaries. So boundaries are limits that teenagers establish in order to protect themselves in some way from being hurt, manipulated, or taken advantage of. Boundaries is an expression of self-worth. Boundaries let other people know who you are, who your teenager is, what they value, and how they want to be treated. Boundary is a tool for self-preservation and self-protection. So setting boundaries, both physically and emotionally, is an important part of growing up. It is essential to developing friendships and other relationships that are respectful, supportive, and healthy. So before we talk about the last point, I want to introduce you to the resource that we created that I told you I've been sharing in schools. And we have taught this particular product, we have taught this course for more than a decade now. So that is the course I want to introduce to you now. Aristo said something, and I think I quoted it earlier, that educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. So it's time for us to pay attention to educating our young people on relationships matters and not assume they should know what to do. We need to be intentional about what they know about love and relationship, because when the concept of a thing is not properly taught or wrongly defined, the practice of it cannot be right. There are wrong concepts of love and relationship from media, from the pop culture, from peers, sometimes even from home, family, relatives, and parents. So that is why we put together the Love and Relationship Mastery course for teenagers. This is not the time for you to go away. This course was put together for your teenagers. It's an online course and is specially prepared and packaged for your teenagers. The focus of this course is to help teenagers understand love, avoid emotional mistakes, and build healthy relationships with themselves, with others, and with God. The vision for putting this course together is to raise emotionally healthy, self-aware, value-driven teenagers who can build meaningful relationships and avoid destructive relational patterns that leaves them broken or trapped. A lot of the emotional scars that people carry into marriages, carry into relationship, started from teenagers, from their teenage years rather, because they were not properly taught. So those wounds, those emotional scars came because they were not making the right relationship decisions. And that is what this course is going to be addressing. So some of the course objectives that we have is that at the end of this course, every teenager is going away having understanding who they are beyond external validation. Like I told you, teenagers have problem with identity. They have identity crisis. They don't know who they are. And understandably so. That is why we need to teach them, because they are very new in the school of life. So this course is going to help them have self-awareness. It's going to help them develop healthy self-esteem. At the end of this course, they should be able to identify their personal values and their standards. It's also going to teach them emotional intelligence. Your teenagers will go away understanding their emotions and what it is all about. They will understand attraction as well. They will learn emotional regulation skills. They will manage rejection, disappointment, and heartbreak. They will understand how to distinguish between the illusions of love and the real love from the creator's perspective. That is our template. They will also go away with relationship intelligence. They will understand how healthy relationships function. They will recognize toxic relationship patterns. They will build healthy friendships and family relationships. In this course, they are going to understand romantic relationship awareness. They are going to go away understanding that romantic relationship is not superior to every other relationship. They will understand crushes. They will understand attraction, infatuation, love, and they will distinguish between fantasy and reality. They will make wise relationship decisions. They will also go away well equipped to understand what boundaries and personal responsibility is, because your child is primarily responsible for what they do with how they feel. So there is nothing wrong with how they feel, but we need to teach them what to do with how they feel. Our goal is not to stop them from feeling. Our goal is to guide them, to read their feeling, to interpret their feelings, and to respond to their feeling appropriately. That is our role. So in this course, they're also going to learn spiritual growth. They will understand God's desire for relationships. They will develop a relationship framework that is rooted in values and purposes. They will learn how faith influences relational choices. Your teenager will be future ready. Trust me, they will be future ready at the end of this course. They will be prepared for healthy adulthood. They will understand relationship decisions and their long-term consequences. They will develop a personal blueprint for future relationships. Now, the transformational promise is that your teenager will not just learn about relationships. They will learn how to think, how to feel, and how to choose differently. And in the time past, we have been running this program two days. But this particular segment, this season, we are running it 4 days. And it is for the age bracket from age 13 to 16 years old. So if your teenager is 13 to 16 years old, they are qualified to be registered for this course. This course will happen online on the 22nd and the 23rd of August, and then 29th and the 30th of August. So it's a 4-day program that is well spread, because there are going to be assignments, there is going to be projects, and we are giving them time to internalize what they have learned. The bonus offer for this program, for this course, is a one-on-one coaching for 1 month. Now, this course is coming to you at the investment fee of 6,099 Naira. That is our early bird fee. So the details will be sent is here, so you can make payments and reserve a seat for your teenager. This is so important. This is the payment details. You can start making payments and take advantage of the early bird offer before it becomes the regular price. This course is for your teenager if you love them, and I believe you love them. So do well to register them for this course, okay? It is thoroughly thought through. It is going to be strictly online, and trust me, your teenager will receive value for this course. We are not just teaching for the sake of making money. When you look at the cost of the program, of the course, you know that it's a giveaway price, 699 Naira with a bonus offer for 4 days to equip your teenager and empower them to make wise relationship choices. So I want you to afford yourself of that opportunity as we continue, with the with the webinar. So the next thing you also need to teach your teenager is what I call the channels of love expression. They teach healthy channels of love expression. Love has different expressions. And that is where we are getting it all wrong. Because we just think that everything about love is only one expression, the romantic expression. Love has different expressions. So teenagers need to be taught different ways to love, different ways that love can be expressed, and the channels through which it can be expressed. It's also important to know who to receive different kinds of love from, and the type of love to express to different people based on the kinds of relationship they are into. So for example, a teenager should know the kind of love to receive from their cousins. They should know the channel, this particular channel, what kind of love are they supposed to give to me? I remember teaching in one of the schools on this particular subject matter. And when I was done and I was asking questions, and I was asking questions, but I was also asking them for feedback. So one of the girls stood up and she said something so profound, and I was quite, I really like her response. And she said, I asked them, what did you learn? She said, one of the things she went away with in the program is that she learned that they have no business with errors, that errors is an error for teenagers. And that made my day. Because any child that can understand that this is the place for attraction, this is the place for real love, they will do very well. They won't have issues with their relationships. So we need to teach our children that love has different channels, and it's one thing that we are going to go into detail in the course. We are going to explain it. We are going to give them a template, a love template that they can use to check their relationships. It's not just romantic relationship, from their friendship. Teenagers has a lot of issues with their friendship. They are passionate about their friendship, and they are ready to do anything to keep their friendship, including staying in an abusive relationship with their friends. So our love template is going to guide them on what to expect. This is what love looks like. So you need to put it side by side with the relationship that you are experiencing. Is it giving you this kind of love? Because if it is not giving you this kind of love, then you have no business being in that relationship. That is part of what we are going to be talking about. So it's going to be in details. What I'm just sharing with you here is just a tip of the iceberg. So for us to give it a 4 days, make it a 4 days course, we know what we are talking about, and we know the values that we want to deliver. It's a program I've given for free for several years. And I am still giving it at a very affordable price, because I want as many parents to take advantage of this opportunity. If your teenager can understand love and relationships, you can go to sleep, because it's going to help you solve a whole lot of problems. So the other thing you need to do is to model love at home. Love and relationship begins at home. Our family unit is the first line of relationship. When your child's emotional tank is filled with love, you know what you have done? You just position your child to know the kind of love to receive and the kind to give. You can imagine every teenager walking around knowing the kind of love to receive and the kind of love to give. Our society will be a better place. Marriages will work. We will not have teenage abortion. We will not have single parenting all over the place. We will not have children that are committing suicide because they were served breakfast. We will not have children that are performing poorly in the academics because somebody broke their heart. Why? Because their emotional tank is filled with love. So, studies have shown that when children receive love from home and from all the positive connections, they have a healthy self-esteem, they do well academically, and the quality of their life is top-notch. And I have seen it. I have seen it. I work with teenagers, so I know what I'm talking about. When teenagers are not receiving love from home, when they are from dysfunctional homes, it affects them. It affects everything about them. So we must model love from home. We must also create the right environment where their need for love can be met by family members and their friends. And one of the ways we can do this is to allow them free interaction and healthy relationship with the opposite sex. Parents up to today still find it difficult to allow their children to relate with the opposite sex. I told you my father used to tell us to stay away from boys. Yes, and they may be wanting sex, but God created boys and girls to coexist harmoniously, to interact. There are healthy opposite sex relationships. You cannot stop your children from relating with the opposite sex. You are not doing them any favor. Really, you are not protecting them. Because when they eventually leave you, you just created a curiosity in them that will make them think that there is something special about the opposite sex. So when you create a safe environment where they can bring their opposite sex friends home, teach them how to relate with the opposite sex, it will demystify the thought or the perception that our need for love can only be met by the opposite sex in a romantic relationship. Because I have to tell you this for free. Teenagers think that romantic relationship is superior to every other relationship. That is why they can do anything to stop a parent who want to stop them from pursuing their romantic interest. I give you a typical example of an article I read some time ago of something that happened in a small town in India. A 15-year-old girl was dating a 19-year-old boy, and their father got to know about it. Her father rather got to know about it. And the father was not happy. He told her the same, you know, the way typically we deal with some of these issues. The father was very upset. He seized the child, confiscated the child's phone, stopped her from going out, and all of those punishments, you know, disciplinary measures that as we call them. Unknown to him, this girl did not take it lightly. The daughter was very upset, and she decided to connive, to plan with the boyfriend to take away the father's life, because she felt that the father was hindering her from her freedom, was taking away her freedom from her. And she wasn't okay with it. So both herself and the boyfriend decided to kill the father. And they carried out the act. They murdered the man. That is how far teenagers can take their romantic interest if they are not properly guided. That is why you cannot afford to push them away when you discover that this is what is happening to them. So you need to create a safe space where they bring their friends home. You need to teach them and model healthy relationships to them where male and female grow together as ordained by nature's law. Then we also need to teach them to understand and receive God's love, which is the ultimate gift to mankind. This is an area we are also going to focus on in the course. So, back to our course, Love and Relationship Mastery course is coming up very soon. So I need everyone to, take advantage of this opportunity. The details are there. If your child is 13 to 16 years old, you need to register them for this course. And trust me, you will be glad you did, because your child will be so loaded with value. So the details will be sent. The details are here already. You can take them and begin to make payments. Hello, can you still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes,
Yeah, we are ready.
All right. So with that, we come to the end of today's session. I know that when teenagers are, if we don't properly guide our teenagers and educate them on love and relationship, they have the capacity to self-implode, indulge in self-destructive activities. They also have the capacity to make very wrong choices and decisions that sometimes some of these decisions are irreversible, and it follows them into adulthood. And that is why we need to take care of it now. So register for the course, get your child enrolled, and trust me, you will be glad you did. So I don't know if you have any question. I would like to take some questions. Any question? I'll give some few minutes for us to take questions. We're already out of time. So let me get your responses, questions, responses, contributions. What stood out for you from the class? It's 13, age 13 to 16, ma. 13 to 16.
Good evening, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma. Lydia, thank you. Thank you very much for being a part of this
Good evening,
conversation.
ma'am.
So let me get your feedback, please. And please start registering your teenager for the webinar, for the course, rather, for the Love and Relationship Mastery course. Start registering. Thank you, Mrs. Obele. Thank you for coming. Thank you, ma'am. So let me get your feedback, questions. I have a few minutes for us to do that. And please
Good evening,
remember
ma'am.
to register and take advantage of the
You
early bird.
said
It's
13
just
to 16.
6,099 naira.
Hello,
It's-
madam, you said 13 to 16 years of age.
Yes, ma'am. 13 to 16 years, ma'am.
But 17 and 18 are still teens.
They are still teenagers, but I have a package for them that comes up a
And
few
that's
weeks
the
from
ones
now.
I paid for. I
This
have
is
the
for 13
17
and
and the 18.
16.
Oh. So
Yes,
when are we
13
having
and
the 17?
16.
I've already paid though. I've already paid, but they're 17 and 18.
Your child is how old?
17 and 18. They're the
17
target.
and 18. Okay. All
I also
right.
have 18.
You also have 18.
Yes.
Okay. It depends on how mature they are.
They
Yes, I
can
do
attend
personal
this
coaching.
and also attend the other one.
Yeah,
Ma?
but I think they should attend it. Don't tell them that it's for 13 and 16. I think you should let them all be there.
You mean all from 13 to
Yeah,
19?
let the 17 and 18 be there. They are part of the teenagers.
You are right. It's just that sometimes the matured teenagers that are 17 and 18, like you said, it's only if they know the age, Sha. Sometimes we don't
Yeah.
tell the age, sometimes we categorize them, but it's fine.
Okay.
Please, my daughter, my
Almost 13 is 13 already. Register her.
okay, mine is 12 plus. Please, I want her to attend because
Please let her register. Register her,
these
ma.
days, even 10 years, know a lot of things. Please, she will
Yes, they
attend.
do. They do. Go ahead. Go ahead. We just put that age bracket just for guidance because sometimes we don't want to have them too young. Do you understand? So you can register below, but not 9. 10 can register, yes. 10 can register, yes. 10 can register.
How much is it, ma'am?
It's 6,999 naira, ma.
Okay.
Thank you so much, ma. Thank you. Okay, you have a question? Go ahead and ask. Thank you, Madam Professor Sharon. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad to have you here. Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, ma.
Good evening, ma'am. Go ahead, please.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mrs. Mercy.
Yes,
My name
ma'am.
is Blessing Waifu. Thank you. It's been I had an opportunity to attend last year, a time like this, and it's been a very educative session for me, and I'm glad that I'm here again this year. God bless you, ma.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, ma.
Thank you.
Please, you
All right.
talked about teens. Teenagers think that romantic love is superior to every other love and relationship. So
Yes.
how can, as a teen coach or as a parent, how do we navigate this line with them? How can we navigate this line, help them navigate through this, trying to teach them the God kind of love or that kind of love that they need for their future spouses?
Exactly.
Yes,
Exactly.
ma'am.
That's why I said it's part of what we are going to teach in details. What I just shared with you parents is the tip of the iceberg because by the grace of God, I've positioned myself as a voice to teenagers. And I have what it takes. It's part of why we put that course together. Okay, I should put, okay, let me do that. Okay, can you still hear me?
I'm with you, ma.
All right. So I'm trying to say that it's part of what we are going to teach them in the mastery course. That's why we have this course, because we are going to teach them in details how to understand that romantic love is not superior. And we are going to give them a love template that will guide them on making relationship decisions, being able to choose between a healthy relationship and an unhealthy one. Now, when it comes to how to help them understand that romantic relationship is not superior, is by demystifying romantic relationships. How do you demystify it? One of the ways to demystify it is by letting them relate with the opposite sex. Teach them that there's nothing mystery. Relating with the opposite sex, there's no mystery in it. The way we present it to them is as if there is a mystery. So it's like this mystery, we don't want you to unravel it until later. So they want to unravel it. When you are trying to make something mysterious to teenagers, you are arousing their curiosity, and they will seek it out, and they will find it out, and they will do it. The only problem is that they are going to do it in secrecy.
Yes.
But when you open it up to them and let them know that relationship with the opposite sex doesn't have to be when it is romantic. This thing I'm telling you, I am doing it with my children. I have a boy, I have 2 girls. This is the framework I use for them. Their male friends come to the house. I know my girls have male friends. My son have female friends. They are not boyfriend, they are not girlfriend. The ones they have crushes on, they tell me. And it has helped them to understand the opposite sex in a way that is preparing them for a romantic relationship. So that when it is time for them to start dating, that is not the time for them to start learning about boys or to start learning about girls. They've already learned. I tell you something that happened with my son not too long ago. He told me there's a particular girl that used to come to the house to visit him. We know him. We know the girl from church. They are friends. We all know that she's his friend, and the girl is his friend. The girl comes to the house. So after a while, I wasn't seeing the girl again. I was like, Bobo, what happened? I'm not seeing this person again. She told me, Mommy, that she doesn't think she can keep that girl as a friend, though. I said, why? She said, because every time she has a little conflict with this girl will keep malice with him for months. And that is not the way he is raised. He's raised to deal with conflict when they come. So it was strange to him. This is back to what I was telling us about family values. So based on that understanding, he cannot keep this person as a friend. And that friendship has ended. They were not boyfriend, they were not girlfriend. But this relationship is what helps your child to begin to understand themselves, become self-aware, and begin to know what they like and what they don't like in relationships. So by the time they are getting into a romantic relationship, it's not difficult for them to choose who they want to be with. Does it make sense to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. So that is the way we are going to help them. And it's part of what we are going to teach in this love and relationship mastery course. You cannot, there's no, see, the way the society is pushing love, we are the one encouraging teenagers to think that romantic relationship is superior. We are the ones, and we have to demystify it. We have to let them know that they can have healthy friendship and the emotional tank will be full. That's the way God created it. And that is why romantic relationship is exclusively reserved for marriage. And when you get married, you are not even supposed to only have your spouse as your friend. You are still supposed to have other positive connection. How will you do that if you never learned how to relate with the opposite sex in the first instance? So beyond just relating with the opposite sex, we need to teach teenagers that other positive relationship and connection is healthy for them. So they will know that this is the channels that God has provided to meet my emotional need for love. Because this emotional need for love is God created. And God has made provision for this emotional need for love to be met from the family, from friends, and it has to be healthy. I hope I've answered your question, ma'am.
Very well, correctly, ma. Thank
All
you,
right.
ma.
Good.
Yes,
So that is why we see we are giving this course is free. It's from the prices, the money that is there is just so that something can come out of you. Truthfully, it is free. Because it's an opportunity I use to pour myself to teenagers and help them know that, see, you can have healthy relationships without being broken. Many teenagers are already broken. I work with them, so I know what I'm talking about. Many teenagers are already broken in their relationship. They are hurting.
They cannot share. They have
cannot share
withdrawn back
it.
to their
Yes.
shell.
They cannot share it. So you understand what I'm talking about? They cannot share this thing. And we need to start raising teenagers who can thrive in their relationship in a way that leaves them whole and not broken. The society is filled with broken humans. And that is why our marriages are no longer working. Because two broken people cannot produce complete relationship. So you see why we need to start the work with the teenagers? I work with singles too. I work with singles who are getting ready for marriage. And when we are doing premarital classes for them, we know that they're already late. They are late. They are late. What we are teaching them in the premarital classes is coming to them as a shock, as a surprise. Some of them did not hear it. It's part of the reason why we decided to put together this course. And we are giving it to the public at this price. It's not because it's not an avenue to make money like some people would think. Seriously, it's not. It's not. It's an avenue to give back to the society and help us to begin to
If we understand what is going on in the life of a teen, we will appreciate the token. It's a token.
Ma?
If we understand what is going on presently in the life of teenagers, especially some of us that have the opportunity to work with them, will know that it's just a token.
Yes, ma'am.
Personally,
Exactly.
I'm already seeing, if it's something, you can also tell some of us who work with things, if there's a way we can bring our teams together, to enroll them for this course, it will make a headway, because I personally have a few teenagers now that have withdrawn to their shell. They don't want to, they have separated themselves, just like you said. They feel their own romantic love is superior to even the love that you are showing them as a parent. They don't appreciate it anymore. So they have withdrawn. They have withdrawn totally. So we are battling, seeing how we can bring them out to see that, to make them whole, like you have said, ma.
Exactly.
Thank
Exactly.
you.
So that's the purpose of this course, my people. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the purpose of this course. If we can help one teenager to get it right in relationship, trust me, the marriage institution will become, see, where I stand and with what I see, I was telling my husband not too long ago that I would rather my children don't marry and be married. I would rather that my children marry right than marry and be miserable.
And be miserable.
Yes. It is far better for my children to be happy and single than to be married to some broken human that would bring his or her brokenness into their life and make a mess of everything that we have tried to build. Because that is what we are consistently seeing in the marriage counseling. Broken people who don't understand anything about relationship, and because they were not taught. Yes, you will have a recorded version. So I don't know if we have other contributions. I wish we can go on and on and on, but we have already taken some time. So let's do the needful and let's get our children enrolled. Yes. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming around. Thank you for staying true. I do hope to see your child in the class. I'm waiting for every single one of them. Thank you, and do have an amazing evening. Bye for now.